Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark from Saw Gaming, and I wanted to bring up this topic because it's an often miscomprehended topic. It's a misunderstood topic that people always get wrong, and it's because they're either too afraid to look into it or too afraid to really even give it a chance. So I want to get into that. I'm going to have 3 points, guys. First one's going to be pricing, and it's going to be an overall price. It's just not going to be a startup price because obviously you'll know which one to go for if it is a startup price. It'd be too obvious. But the second one would be the variation of what you're going to get if you choose one thing over the other. Mind you, this is assuming that you can only afford either one console or one PC. Which one would it be, and is it right for you? And the third one's going to be lifestyles. A lot of times, people's purchases that I see go into lifestyles. Like they move a lot. They shouldn't have a gaming PC if that's the only thing that they do. But they love gaming, unless they're going to do a laptop. In that case, get a Nintendo Switch or a laptop, or there's other issues where someone would stay home all day and be a really heavy gamer and they want to take their thing to the next level. I'd recommend a PC or a PS4 or even an Xbox One. They last a long time, and if you take care of them, they'll take care of you. Now, I'm going to get into the first point, which is price marketing. The PS4 is around $400, and now the PS4 Pro's out. It's going to be $400, or if you want to get the terabyte, the 2 terabyte build, I think it'd be $450 or $500. Xbox One's $400 now, or $399. Xbox One S is around $450, and later on in the year, like a year from now, a Scorpio will come out, but that's a different video for a different analysis. So let's get into the pricing. So the startup consoles, you're going to be paying $400 to $500. That's not including games that you need to run on it. So let's assume this. You're just getting a damn console. It's useless without games. Unless you got a Netflix fee and all that other shit. Then if you're just going to watch shit on it, I don't know why you bought a console. So let's assume that you're going to buy games. Games on the consoles are always, if it's a AAA title game and it just came out last week, so you're paying $60. Let's say 4 games at $60, okay? So you got $500. Let's just assume $500 to $400. I'm just going to round it up to $500. And $360. So 500 plus 360 is $860. $860 for a console and 3 games. No, 4 games. Not to mention your online fees, which is another $50. I'm just going to round it down to 50, as an average. So you got $860 plus 50. That's around $920. So $930. So you spent almost $1,000 there over time. Whereas if you got a PC, my PC actually cost me $500, and online fees are free. Not to mention your PC, how you build it will cost differently. So let's say this, just to narrow it down, let's say you got a PC for the same price that you would buy the hardware console version. Just saying, if you did do that with the PC would be more powerful and better running than your console would be, because how Sony and Microsoft get their money is by overpricing the products that they sell. To be honest, the GTX 750 Ti's are probably in there, and you got yourself a 900 and a 960 for the same price. A GTX 960 that's far more powerful. It has more CUDA cores, faster clock rate, and more memory. You're just winning there. Now, if we can just get the price up to there, so whatever variables you make out of your PC, that's why it's so difficult to compare it hardware-wise, because there's so much on the market on the PC. On the console market, it's just 2 things, an Xbox and a PlayStation. So a $500 PC, more powerful than the console, no doubt. Unless you're retarded, then you wouldn't be spending $500 and getting a weaker PC or an equivalent power. That just doesn't make sense on the market today. Everything's on sale on Amazon. In the grand scheme, you got the same price. Now let's do the games. On Steam, they have deals where a game would just come out. You could actually pay $45 dollars for it, just $45 at max sometimes, or it's $60 if they insist. But then you can go to places like G2A. So that's where the limiting factors start to really rise above the console market. Is when you're on the console, you can only purchase games from two places: Microsoft or Sony. And the other choice is an outside source like GameStop, who overprice new games, like Target, who sell it at retail price, like Walmart, retail price, some rollbacks, but that's an older game. And other outside sources. So they're pretty much all the same thing. $64. That's because you're adding tax onto there too. Luckily, you're not paying $64 when you purchase it online. So let's just assume that you're smart enough to buy it online if you're just going to do pricing. That alone, just brand new game, $64 versus $45. And not to mention, if I went to G2A, I could probably get it for $30. Brand spanking new. That's just how the market is on the PC. It's super wide, and it's just crazy. CD Keys does the same thing, by the way. Check them out. So your games are cheaper on the PC side. Now let's look at the comparison. So, like I said earlier, 4 games, brand new, on the console would be $360 without tax deducted. Without adding on tax. So it's tax deductible right there. And and after that, on the PC, you got, let's say, $45. Okay? I'm going to round it down to 30, just because you can. And either way, 45 would still be less, but I wanted to make the gap big because, one, I don't have a calculator with me. I really should have brought one. And 2, I'll list down the 45 variable under the description below. I have time for that. Yes, I do. I need to get a life. So 30 times 4, that's 12. That's $120 versus $360. So you're getting half the price there just by buying games, and if you're really smart with it. Then there's Humble Bundle, and they do all these other things, but I won't get into there because that's a lot of mathematics. So point 3 would be the online services. You don't have to pay to play. You shouldn't have to. On the Xbox One and PS4, you have to pay a year, an annual, or even a monthly fee, depending on how you plan it out. I think they do it by 3 months now, so annually or almost quarterly, I guess, if you could even call it quarterly. They do it like that, and you'd be saving money doing the annual fees instead of the quarterly. So let's do the annual fees. The annual fees is usually 59 to 49. So I'm just going to round it off to $50 a year. Let's say, how long do you want to be playing this thing for a year? You're going to be playing it for 5 years. Let's say the lifespan of your console before you get another thing would be 5 years. Okay, 5 times 5, that's 25. It's $250 alone on $250 alone just by playing online, getting Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus. That is ridiculous. They give you these free games because, honestly, when you have a PC and Xbox One and they give you these free games, they're actually a scam, because if you look on the PC, they're like $2, $5, $10, shit like that, and you're not really getting your money's back. You're not. So I just went over the price buff right there, because it's completely free on the PC. No ifs, ands, or buts. Origin's free. Uplay's free. Steam is free. All that shit is free. That is the first category. So price. If you were watching it for price, definitely pick up a PC if that's your only issue. I would only recommend that if you were only worried about paying less. Now let's say exclusives. This is a big if, because exclusives. Sony has a few good exclusives and they're coming out with more. So is Microsoft. So is Nintendo. And so is PC. PC has hundreds of exclusives that may or may not be to your liking, but it's a very robust and diversified market. Now, the Xbox has a few good exclusives if they would just keep fucking going through with it. They canceled Dragonborn, that pissed me off. Anyway, they they cancel some of their exclusives, and even if they do go through, that shit will end up on the PC anyway. So for half the price if you get a CD key. But if you buy it from the Windows 10 store, God bless you, because that thing sucks. Now, then there's the PlayStation. They have some great exclusives. I'm pretty hyped out for God of War. When you know, I'm pretty hyped for the next God of War and to see what happens with that. And there's a Horizon Zero Dawn, shit like that. Okay. Number one, exclusives will cost the same. So I'm just gonna get the pricing out of the way, okay? I'm just gonna do it by number of exclusives. On the PC, they have an unlimited lifespan of games that you can play when they were published in 2009. However, on the Xbox One and PS4, if you want to play an older exclusive that you didn't get to play, they have streaming services now. So you don't have to buy an old console anymore to play it. Unfortunately, though, the streaming services are indeed they need to have your credit card information in there, which is bad because if anyone remembers 2009, the crash, and everyone who lost the money didn't get paid back very well from Sony, that scares the shit out of me. The next issue with that streaming services is that they charge about the same price for a year. So I think PlayStation Now for playing games would be $60 a year. That's more than their online fees. However, there's Xbox Live thing, and I forgot what it's called. I'm just going to call it the Xbox Live Streamer just to be safe. And they stream games just like the PS Now does. And they do it for a similar fee. I think it's a little cheaper, actually. So check that out. And you can do it on your PC, too. Which brings me to my last part. Both of these, if you want to play old exclusives that you didn't get to play before, let's say I want to play Infamous, the first one on the PS4, I'd have to pay a streaming fee, and I'd actually kind of have to purchase the license for a limited time. You don't get to keep what you purchased. It's like going to Blockbuster right before they shut down. That's the kind of pricing scheme they have, and how long you get to keep it. Good thing they do have variable subscriptions, and you can always renew a subscription, but that seems a bit too technical and a little bit too nerving because it's kind of forcing you to beat a game early when you could just take your time and get every achievement or trophy, depending on where you are. Now, on the Xbox, it's the same thing, unfortunately. Now let's look at the PC. The PC is a good thing because when you get a personal computer, you're not constrained by these services. You actually can choose your services, and Ubisoft has their own exclusives like Far Cry, and they're developers of things. But then there's Origin, who exclusively do Battlefield, so you can't get a Battlefield game up to date from anywhere else but from Origin, and they have a lot of good things about that with this distribution. I don't like the fact you can only buy it from Origin, but they have a lot of good distribution factors in there because when you get on the PC, you can choose, oh shit, there's this game from the 1990s, and I don't know why you'd fucking want to play that today, but there's this retro game. Let's say you're a retro gamer. You won't be able to see that on the console. Or if you want to play Far Cry 3 for the first time because all your friends say it was an amazing game and all that shit, right? You can't. It's not going to be found there unless you paid an extra fee. However, you could just buy it once on Steam for $4, just like I did, and you can go to Uplay and probably get it for a cheaper price depending on which service you go to, because it actually varies. So that's one hassle with the PCs. You have to look at all these different services and determine which price is the best. That's why they got PC compare prices sites. So that's really nice to have. The last thing I want to go after is lifetime. When you get a PC, the only thing you really have to worry about is the hardware lifetime expectancy, because when you have a Windows 10 PC and you're up to date and you got some good parts, that's the only thing you got to worry about. Unfortunately, when time comes, it will eventually be obsolete until you upgrade. But that usually doesn't happen until like 5, 10 years from now. Okay, 10 is a little much, but 5 is a good increment. And that's actually how much longer the consoles would probably last before the new one comes out, and that gets replaced. So let's look at this. When you replace a PC part, you're only replacing that individual part that needs to be placed, where the other things can hold up on their own quite well. So let's say your GPU could be replaced, but your CPU's fine, and your RAM sticks are okay, and your motherboard's great, and all that other shit. You're just gonna have to replace the GPU, and you probably get it for about $250. Now, when you are playing a game console, and you see these new games come out for this console that just came out, and you don't have that console yet, and then you hear about, like, oh, 10 months from now we're discontinuing online services for this console. That's the same thing they did with the PS3, unfortunately. So you're eventually gonna be forced to buy this new console, and it will cost more than the one you did buy, because that's how marketing works. So you'll have freedom. Now, I just talked about how the consoles are inferior to the PC. Now I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to say, okay, now the PCs can be inferior to the consoles. Okay, the exclusives on Sony are kick-ass, and you won't be able to play them on the PC. B, certain services on the consoles aren't on the PC, and most of your friends would probably be the demographic that plays on that console anyway. So chances are, like me, when you get a new PC, you're gonna be a lonely son of a bitch, and you're not gonna have any friends. Take it from me. God, it was so hard. It's like you're making a new account, you're in no man's land, you don't feel safe, and you don't know how people act on this platform. And mind you, they're a bit more hostile than on the consoles. They're really competitive on the PC, holy shit. When you play Insurgency, someone's gonna curse you out if you do something stupid. Now, your friends are on the console, you got a PC, now you're a lonely guy. What can you do to play with them? Well, on the PlayStation, you can't really do shit. But on the Xbox, you can do a lot. They have an Xbox app where you can stream into their parties and talk to them while you're playing your PC games. That's really nice and all. You can also play with them with this software that the Xbox allows, where they can, I think, share play on PlayStation. I don't know if it works on the console to the PC, but it works from console to console. It works from Steam user to Steam user, by the way, too. So, what I'm saying is, the only reason why you should choose a console over the things I've just told you, and the things that you may look at after, are basically you want to be with your friends who already have these consoles. Any other reason would probably be exclusives. But I swear to God, if I see one person in the comment section say they're going to choose an Xbox One over the fucking PC because of exclusives, I'm going to fucking explode. That's an extremely stupid thing. Goodbye. Have a good day. This has been Mark from Saw Gaming, and holy shit, don't say that in the comment section.